Welcome back to In the Gate. Secretariat, timing is everything. As you can see, timing really was everything, and I think Steve Davidowitz really put it well, that the numbers have to be accurate for the integrity of this sport. And with the numbers now being accurate, Ms. Chenery, how do you put this into perspective now that Secretariat broke 3 track records? Now, we should also point out he does not currently hold the track record for a mile and 3/16 at Pimlico. Farm Away broke that record in the 91 Pimlico Special, but he still holds 3 stakes records and had set 3 track records. How do you put those kinds of numbers into perspective?
Whose perspective? It didn't really depress me that he didn't have all 3 track records, but for the sake of racing, it is important that they be accurate and reliable. And I have to thank and congratulate the people who made this inquiry happen and produced the indisputable evidence to put in stone what we already knew.
I believe we have an audience question. Let's have our audience member.
Hi, my name's Linda Good. I'm from Parkton, Maryland. And my question is for Ron. I think every person we come in contact with during our lives gives us something, leaves us with something that helps us become better. I personally believe that's true for horses too. So my question for you is, how did your time with Secretariat impact your life?
How did my time impact my life? I'll tell you, it's very hard to measure. I had a wonderful career. I was a leading writer when I rode in Canada. I was leading writer everywhere I rode in Maryland. And I also had a beautiful career before. But he was the icing on the cake. Believe me, he was. I mean, I've been ridden the greatest thoroughbred of all time in Canada, Northern Dancer, and now we come with the greatest horses of all time in the world, in my opinion. He, it's just something that it's not, dreams are not even made of this. I mean, I would never dream of that.
Charles, the Northern Dancer, whom Ron just mentioned, was a fast horse. There weren't movies made about Northern Dancer. Why has Secretariat resonated so strongly down through the decades?
One of the things that I carried away from Secretariat and his amazing transition over above everything and everybody, every other horse, was the ease in which he did everything. He did everything so easily that sometimes I wonder if you really had gotten down and ridden him hard, I would just wonder how much more we would have seen. It just seemed like he pulled you to the lead. I'm not saying you didn't ride him just right, but he did it so easy, Ron. You always are just sitting so still up there, and he just takes you there.
Well, I'll tell you, on the Belmont, I think if he had wings, we might have taken off. Believe me. Excuse me, to explain one thing here that was not mentioned. When you ride a race, if you have a speed horse and you're parked on the outside, what do? You gun your horse out of the gate and try to get to the inside side to save ground. What was done in a Secretariat's race? A Colletage was on the outside, he was the speed horse. And what did he do? He gunned his horse out of there, and he really barreled down to the quarter pole. I mean, past the wire. I just let them go. But then when I went to drop in, I saw everybody grab a hold of their horse. That's when I just let Secretariat go. And that will explain to you why the first quarter was registered so slow and yet was run so fast. Because everybody gun the horse out of there, but it was not registered that way.
Bill Nack, you get the final word here. Who better than the best wordsmith I've ever seen? Secretariat didn't win every one of his starts, and there's been such long gaps between Triple Crown winners. What does that say about just how special those 3 races really were?
Well, there's been, since he came of age as a 3-year-old, there have been close to 1.5 million horses who have been old enough to run in the Triple Crown. And it's just so special to know that out of that 1.5 million horses, you happen to hook up with one 2 months after becoming a turf rider, who turned out to be the best. That was one in a 1.5 million. I really feel blessed for having had the opportunity to follow him around and to get to know Penny and Ron and the gang, Eddie Sweat, Charlie Davis. It's been a joy. I can't tell you. And you know what's really kind of nice? I think the horse has proven himself over the last 40 years to be the best handicap horse of all time, because he's been carrying Penny and me and Ron all at once. I'm enough, but you know, it's just been a real joy to be around him. He's become, I think, a symbol of excellence. You know, he was a kind of a big innocent. You know, he was a mute. He never gave an interview. Nobody ever had to call 911 because of him. Didn't beat up his wife and girlfriends. Didn't do drugs. Didn't have a crazy agent. And I think he came to symbolize a kind of a purity that all of us really admire and look up to. And I think that's why he has transcended the sport. He has become a symbol of general excellence.
It has been a real joy being with all of you here to share this wonderful story. Thank you for being here. Thanks to our tremendous panelists. Remember to catch In the Gate every week on ESPN.com. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time.